At least 17 people have died after the deadliest fire in New York City in decades tore through a Bronx apartment building on Sunday. 8 of those killed were children. Officials expect the death toll to rise as dozens are injured and 15 are still in critical condition after unprecedented levels of smoke, the city fire commissioner said. One resident spoke with reporters about the scene last night.
These is kids I grew up with. I'm young. These is kids like don't make no sense. These is kids we grew up with, kids I went to school with. It was just scary. It was scary. I was more worried about my family than myself.
The fire has also devastated a tight-knit community of West African immigrants who call the Twin Parks apartment building home.
Most of the people there are African, West Africans, and majority of them from Gambia, West Africa, some from Guinea, but the majority of them are from Gambia. You know, these are very, very strong people. These are people that will never lose hope or never lose faith, no matter how painful it is. And this is hugely painful, but it is the revisitation to tragedy after tragedy that we are unfortunately are coming to be familiar with. It happened so many times.
City officials said a malfunctioning space heater that may have been left on for days caused the fire. But not all of New York City's fire safety mandates implemented over the last 25 years have been applied to Twin Parks. Built as affordable housing in 1972, the building did not have sprinklers in most areas, and it had no fire escapes. The requirement for self-closing doors did apply to the building, but the city's fire commissioner said 2 doors did not automatically close during the blaze. This incident comes just 4 days after another fire in Philadelphia devastated a black family living in an overcrowded public housing unit while they lacked affordable options to move. 12 people, including 8 children, were killed. They, too, lacked fire escapes and had 4 broken smoke detectors, according to City Fire Department. These horrors are repeated on a national level. According to the National Fire Protection Association, poverty was a key factor among those killed in fires between 2015 and 2019. African Americans were the second most impacted demographic after Native Americans. Joining me now to discuss, Jumaane Williams, public advocate for New York City and candidate for governor of New York. Jumaane, I just want to get your response. You obviously in the city of New York, in that state. How are you responding to what you saw happen at Twin Parks?
You know, being on the scene there was so much trauma there. I mean, we walked into the school where they were housing people. It was just tough to be speaking with people who were just finding out they lost loved ones. Some of them waiting 12, 13 hours, don't even know if their loved one is alive or where they are. And really some folks just in shock, even with the strength that was described by the imam. There was just so much pain that was happening there. So I was happy to see on a human level, politics was out the window. Everybody on the scene doing their best they can to help this family. But as we move forward, there are some lessons that we have to learn to try to prevent this from happening again and again.
So let's talk specifically about the building. Twin Parks doesn't have exterior fire escapes like many buildings constructed before the mid-20th century in New York. Many modern apartments have sprinkler systems with several interior emergency firewalls. Was Twin Parks required to have any of these measures in place or not?
So I want to look at the specifics and then in general. It's hard to, with this specific building, without more information, answer some of those questions. My understanding is that they weren't required to have fire escapes on the outside, particularly based on the height of the building. After a certain height, usually there's no more fire escapes, and you have indoor folks to be able to get outside, to get downstairs from the indoor. We did want to check and see if some of the doors that were supposed to be able to auto close were working correctly. We also want to make sure that heat was dispersed the way it should be in all of the apartments. There wasn't an abundance of heat complaints, and so it was hard to say that was the issue, but we have found in places that heat is not always dispersed in the way it should be. If you take it 30,000 feet now and you look globally, as you were speaking about, we unfortunately do see a prevalence of these kind of fire catastrophes in the same kind of socioeconomic dwellings all across the country.
So let's talk about that, that larger picture for a minute. What is this relationship between, poverty and risk or danger of catastrophe, particularly fires in kind of either in overcrowded spaces or in spaces where escape paths and safety measures may not be required or may not be in place? What is that risk like, and how do we mitigate that as cities and states and as the country as a whole?
I started out as a tenant organizer, so I've been working on these issues for a very long time. And the crux of it seems to be, as you might think, the lack of income targeted, affordable, safe housing. Unfortunately, people sometimes have to choose one over the other, whether it's overcrowded conditions, whether it's making sure there is adequate heat, whether it's making sure that the building is up to code. Again, that's in the 30,000 view. And on top of that, you have areas like the Bronx where this occurred. You have people's immigration status may not be what many would want. And so there's an additional concern whether or not to even enforce laws with concern that they may come back to them on their immigration status. We do see people, again, can't say in this particular instance, but generally speaking, we do see people take full advantage of that. The number one thing we can do is get housing that people can afford at the income level they can afford it. We failed tremendously all across this country, right here in New York State, to do that. In the State of the State address that the governor just put out was woefully lacking in plans to even address that.
Jumaane Williams, I just want to thank you for joining us again tonight. Always a pleasure. Our prayers are with the people both in New York, in the Bronx, but also in Philadelphia, and hopefully on a local level at least, we can work through some of these problems and at least recognize that there are people who have to live in conditions that many of us would consider to be hazardous. Thank you so much again for your time, Jumaane.